Hey, thank you folks for joining us today for our Looker 7 product release webinar. My name is Nick Caldwell. I'm the Chief Product Officer here at Looker. With me today, we have Ariel Strong, Lindsay Zielinski, and Sandra Orozco. We'll share our thoughts on the direction of our technology, introduce the next major release of the Looker platform, and discuss exciting new product features with our Looker 7 release. Before we get started today, I just want to remind folks that we'll have a 15-minute Q&A session at the end of our presentation. To ask a question to our presenters, please type your question in the Q&A box and click Submit. Also, this presentation is being recorded, and we'll be sending out the recording after it's over. With that, let's get started. I want to start with a quote from our founder, Lloyd Tabb. Great software is an act of empathy. And to us at Looker, this means understanding our customers and not letting them go until they've become successful. That's why we have an entire department, the Department of Customer Love, so that empathy becomes a part of every single Looker customer's experience. Everyone on this webinar should also think about what it means for your company to be empathetic, because great data is also an act of empathy. As you'll hear us say over and over again, it's our mission to empower people through the smarter use of data. So everything that you'll see announced today for Looker 7 adds up in some way to achieving this core mission. And it's never been more important than now, because everyone needs data to get their jobs done. Executives, managers, individuals, every single person in an organization can be empowered with data. What's driving this wave of change, this transformation, is that the foundational technologies which make analytics possible, databases, compute power, storage, analytical processing, networking, they've all evolved tremendously. Over the last 5 years, we've gone from storing data in cubes that took days or weeks to process to infinitely scalable cloud databases where we can store petabytes of data and do complex calculations with comical ease. But let's talk about BI, because BI tools have largely remained the same. Sure, they're faster and easier, and you have lots more options for visualizing data and building dashboards. But as data and data infrastructure gets more powerful, all that new energy stays locked up in tools whose basic premise is the same today as it was 20 years ago. Display information in a report on a screen so that someone can interpret it and make a decision. Before I scare you off, yes, BI dashboards and reports are still important, of course. In fact, you'll see in the next version of Looker, we've got the best dashboarding experience yet. It's richer, modern, more user-friendly. We've rewritten that technology from the ground up. But the point I'm trying to make is that reports and dashboards are just one of the many ways in which companies are starting to harness the power of data. Looker lets you do more, and when you have all your business data connected in real time, you can dream much, much bigger. Yesterday, you heard so many examples of how Looker is enabling data-driven experiences. Healthcare applications, people automating their trucking fleets, people building data science workflows, and all sorts of tools. We call these data-driven experiences. There are unlimited possibilities here. You are all coming up with data-driven experiences that we could never have imagined, and it's the most exciting thing about Looker 7 and BI right now. This is what our next major release, Looker 7, is all about. We want to help you take control of the explosion of data happening in your company. We want you to channel all that potential energy into data experiences that transform your business and make it more successful. Looker 7 is our most powerful release yet, and I'm thrilled to introduce it to you. It starts with a more modern BI experience. BI is the first data-driven experience Looker built, and it's also the first way most companies will use our product. So today we'll show you the next evolution in Looker's dashboarding capabilities. We've made them more intuitive, more interactive, easier to edit and customize. We've built all sorts of new filtering capabilities for deeper insights. You're going to love it. Second, we also believe that BI tools shouldn't be the only place where people can get insights. Those insights need to be delivered when and where they're needed. So we're going to show you how we can do this with our enhanced integration with Slack. Then we'll go beyond BI and share how Looker makes it possible for you to build custom data-driven experiences for your organization. The focus here is on giving your development efforts a jumpstart with new SDKs, new UI components, and richer development resources. A huge part of this story is Looker's new marketplace, where you'll be able to quickly find and deploy data experiences built by the Looker community. The marketplace will also be the new home for the growing offerings of applications, integrations, and plugins. And all of this is bolstered by an enterprise class architecture designed with a cloud-native approach to deliver data experiences at scale. You've heard a lot about multi-cloud over the past couple of days. We'll talk about how Looker lets you choose best-of-breed infrastructure and database platforms to fit your specific needs. Finally, we'll show you how Looker helps administrators analyze system usage to improve adoption, reduce cost, and build better data experiences. Our vision is to empower people with data, and Looker 7 is the platform for building any data experience that you can imagine. Now that I've given you an overview of the major Looker 7 offers, I'm going to pass it over to Ariel, who'll jump into the details.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ariel, a product manager for the BI product here at Looker, and I'm excited today to walk you through our vision for powerful out-of-the-box experiences in Looker 7. With Looker 7, we wanted to take a step back and think about how we can make all users more successful with data. And that means making it fast and easy to help everybody discover, analyze, and share the insights that matter most to them. So let's dive in and take a look. At Looker, we understand that data is a team sport. So when it came to organizing content, we looked at the way that teams work for inspiration. So earlier this year, we released a new feature called Boards that helps you curate and organize the dashboards and looks in a central place for your teams to work off of. And this year, we're taking it even further. With Looker 7, we're allowing you to set a board as a homepage. So now you can customize and tailor users' first experience in the product. So when you have new members join your team, they'll be able to get up to speed as quickly as possible. So in Looker 7, we have all new curated experiences and the ability to set team-powered homepages. So let's jump into a piece of content. I'm going to dive into this first dashboard here. And you may notice when I pull this dashboard up that it looks a bit different than before. And that's because in Looker 7, we've completely overhauled our entire dashboard experience. They're faster, fresher, and most importantly, they're more interactive. We've added all new filter types that make it easy for every user to now interact, dive in, and ask new questions of the data. And they can be tailored and customized based on the field type and cardinality. And while new filters are great, sometimes people need to interact with dashboards in ways that you might not predict. And so we're going further and making filters more interactive by allowing you to click directly on a chart to refilter the dashboard with all new cross-filtering. And we know that our customers get very creative when it comes to designing dashboards. And so with our new experience, we wanted to give you all the tools you need, whether that's designing a dashboard for your executive, optimizing it for that client email, or you're going to put it up on the big screen in your office. You'll now have all the tools and customization settings you need to really make that data shine. And dashboards aren't a one-size-fits-all solution. Sometimes you need a dashboard that's optimized for KPIs. Other times, you're actually just trying to tell a story with your data. You're trying to put your story front and center so you can communicate those insights to others. And now with our document-based text editing, document-style text editing, you'll be able to do exactly that, all while keeping live Looker insights right front and center. So with Looker 7, we're excited to see what you're able to create with our new interactive dashboard experience. So we just walked through some ways that we're improving the experience inside the product. And while Looker is a powerful tool for centralizing all of your business logic in one place, we actually believe that data and insights are most powerful when you can put them in the hands of everybody in your organization. And that means bringing data to people exactly when and where they need it most. So we have 10 new and updated integrations. So you'll be able to use Looker to power more workflows through things like mParticle. Keep Looker and your data a part of the conversation with our new Slack integration. And share and collaborate with your partners, colleagues, and customers with new Google Drive, Dropbox, and Box integrations. And we're gonna help you automate it as well. We wanna make sure you never miss a beat when it comes to important changes in your business. So with all new alerts, you'll be able to set up thresholds and conditions so you can stay on top of those important changes. You'll be able to be notified by any of those destinations we have, whether it's email, whether it's that team room in Slack, or whether it's powering another workflow through Zapier or with Twilio. And the best part about alerts is that we built them with users of all levels in mind, so that people who are closest to the business can set up their own thresholds, create their own workflows, and allow anybody on their team to follow and subscribe so everybody stays in sync. And speaking of Slack, it's really important that you're able to bring data into conversations. And so we wanted to make that a lot easier. So not only will you be able to get your alerts directly in that team Slack room, but we have a new out-of-the-box Slack integration. It's going to make it easy to keep your data right in that line of communication. You'll be able to use new commands and options, so you never even have to leave Slack to get all of the insights and information you need. And the best part is that with the new integration, it's a one-click setup. So it's super easy to turn on, and you'll be able to do it in just a few seconds. Lastly, we know that data is needed for making critical time-sensitive decisions. So we're introducing a brand new native mobile app. So you'll be able to browse, find, and filter your data all while on the go. Cool. So in Looker 7, we want to make sure you have all of the answers you need when and where you need them the most. Okay, and truly one last thing before we do go. The theme of today is all about how we're making it really fast for you to get the answers you need. And so when it comes to ad hoc or one-off questions, sometimes SQL is the best way to get that answer. Maybe it's a new data set, maybe it hasn't been modeled quite yet. So now in Looker, you're going to be able to write a query, create a chart, and immediately share that with anybody on your team with our new SQL Runner visualizations. And these are available today. You can actually try this out. We have it in beta, so give it a try, and we're excited to see, to hear your feedback. Cool, so in Looker 7, we have all new ways of curating content. You'll be able to design new interactive dashboards, and most importantly, keep data a part of every workflow and conversation. And with that, I'm excited to introduce my colleague, Lindsay, who's going to walk you through our vision for building tailored experience.
Thanks, Ariel. Hey, everybody. I'm Lindsay Zielinski. I am on Looker's product team. And I am here today to talk to you about building tailored data experiences on Looker's platform. Ariel just shared with you all of the incredible new features that we're building into the core Looker product. But as many of you know, sometimes what you actually need is to bring data outside of Looker. Or maybe you need to build a tailored solution for a specific use case. We've been doing a lot of research and talking to developers and analysts, and I'm excited today to announce a rich new set of tools we're building for Looker 7. Starting with our embedded product offering, 35% of Looker's customers embed Looker content today to help users make better decisions by surfacing relevant insights into their workflows. Many of our customers embed Looker content externally, like into their company website or into a customer portal. And some of our customers embed Looker content internally, like into your team's Salesforce account. But what we've heard from you is that it's really important that the look and feel of your embedded Looker content blends in seamlessly with the page around it. And we want to help you build even more tailored embed experiences without necessarily needing to find a software developer or learning to become one yourself. So now, as you're building out your embedded content, we're giving you more control than ever. You can now customize the look of your tiles, and you can entirely theme your embedded dashboard. And as a part of Looker 7, you can choose from a library of pre-built custom tiles, like a social media feed that you can add to your dashboard so you can track what people are saying about your company, or a live stock ticker so you can track your company's share price. And with a little bit of development effort, you can use our Embed SDK to build on-the-fly controls for embedded content to, for example, allow end users to configure their dashboard layout, like you can see here. Now, moving all the way to the other end of the spectrum, let's talk about our customers who want to build fully tailored experiences from the ground up to automate workflows and to take action on their data. Traditionally, customers have used Looker's APIs to do just that, like this example that shows an application tracking revenue and inventory. Or this example that our partner Yeti built that surfaces the states with the highest rates of bad loans. But the feedback that we've heard from you is that our APIs require quite a bit of developer sophistication to get up and running. And so today, I'm excited to announce a suite of new SDKs for working with our core APIs. These SDKs make our APIs more accessible to developers to work in the languages that they're most comfortable with. And we're taking this even one step farther by packaging up common Looker components so developers can more quickly assemble fully tailored applications. These components are things like visualizations, filters, and navigation. These tools are meant to unlock the creativity and imagination of our users to build whatever custom tools that their teams need. But we didn't want developers building outside of Looker to have all the fun. And we're now making it possible for users to build these experiences right inside Looker. For example, developers will soon be able to build internal tools like this data dictionary that allows you to search for and explore your data. And it also allows you to visualize the relationship between your data sets and explorers, so you can understand which data sets are used the most and which explorers are duplicative. You'll also be able to build things like this cohort analysis tool that visualizes trends over time by customer or user group. Both the data dictionary and the cohort analysis tool are examples of what you can build really quickly with this developer framework, and both are launching with Looker 7. But now that we've built this incredibly powerful new framework and set of developer tools, we needed a way for developers to share all of the rich creations that they build with the rest of the Looker community. And with that, I am thrilled to announce the Looker Marketplace, where developers can go to deploy all of the incredible things that they build for the rest of Looker's users to discover and install. And installing through the Marketplace is really, really quick and easy. For example, in under a minute, you can install a pre-baked model and a dashboard, like this example showing snowflake usage, or a custom visualization, like this goofy cartoon graph, or an even more complex visualization, like this calendar heat map. And even full, robust applications like Looker's Sales Analytics application only takes a few minutes to install and configure through the Marketplace. We are launching the Marketplace with a lot of content, and stay tuned for this volume of content to continue to expand throughout 2020. Looker's partners are incredibly eager to add their solutions to the Marketplace. And I'm happy to say that starting in early Q1, third-party developers will be able to distribute all of the solutions that they build on the Looker Marketplace. The feedback on all of the developer tools that we're building for Looker 7 has been incredibly positive. And as you can see, our partners are particularly excited. So as you're building out your roadmaps to build better data experiences, keep in mind that you can take advantage of all of the incredible new tools launching with Looker 7. Dynamic embedded dashboard controls using our Embed SDK, SDKs for our core APIs and pre-built UI components so developers can more quickly build fully tailored applications, a new framework for building internal tools, and finally, a marketplace for discovering and installing all of the rich creations built by the brilliant developer minds contributing to Looker's platform ecosystem. And with that, I will pass the mic to my coworker Sandra to talk to you about all of the infrastructure powering these rich data experiences.
Hi, I'm Sandra Roscoe. I'm the lead product manager for the engineering operations group at Looker, and I'm here to talk about the data foundation changes coming in Looker 7. To support the new data experiences and developer tools that Ariel and Lindsay just shared, we've made some changes under the hood of Looker as well. Looker 7 is built for enterprise-grade workloads. Let's take a look at what's new. First, we're upgrading our infrastructure to a modern Kubernetes-based architecture that will enable multi-cloud configurations for Looker-hosted customers. As your organization is growing and changing, Looker gives you flexibility and choice. Today, Looker-hosted customers have their Looker application hosted on AWS. And we're pleased to announce that later this month, you'll have the option to be hosted on GCP too. And in early 2020, Microsoft Azure Cloud will also be an option. Because we already support more than 50 SQL dialects and are making it easier to connect to data in your SaaS tools, which we'll talk about in a minute, you can pull in data from any cloud, analyze it in Looker on any cloud, and send data to any cloud. It's your data, your way, enabled by Looker's multi-cloud approach. Delivering data from Looker into third-party tools is faster than ever in Looker 7. We're building faster data downloads for large data sets via our APIs and the Looker UI. And when we did preliminary tests on this change, we saw that for some use cases, data downloaded up to 100 times faster. Faster data downloads out of Looker means faster delivery to your machine learning and other third-party tools, and more efficient data workflows. We want to provide as many ways as possible for you to leverage the power of your LookML model outside of Looker. Today, you can use LookML to define persistent derived tables, known as PDTs, to transform your data. And coming soon, we'll introduce the ability to create stable view tables on top of your PDTs. These stable view tables will have names that will never change from build to build, making it possible for you to point third-party data science and analytics tools at Looker curated data tables, so you can maintain a governed single source of truth no matter where you're using your data. We're especially excited about two performance enhancements coming in Looker 7. The first is a new in-memory cache. This new in-memory cache is a separate layer where you can scale memory sizes independently of your Looker instance. It's designed from the ground up to scale to vast, multi-node enterprise deployments and will make dashboards load faster than ever. The second performance enhancement is intelligent query optimization. Looker is getting smarter under the hood. We're adding intelligence to how we understand and assemble SQL so that we can optimize your queries to be faster and cheaper. And there's even more in Looker 7 to make it work for your unique needs. As this customer quote testifies, Looker is more than just great software. We also have exceptional people who are here to help make it work for you. And when you need an extra level of support, we're here for you. We're offering several new project-based and support-based service packages. Our teams can help you build and maintain the robust and unique data experiences that your business needs. And to help you quickly get started with insights from your data, Looker Connections provides a seamless mechanism for setting up managed ETL and data warehousing from right within the Looker UI. With Looker Connections, you can easily load data from more than 45 SaaS tools into Looker. And we have Looker blocks or applications for most of these connectors too, so that you can really hit the ground running with in-database BI and model data. And we continue to invest in and prioritize security and compliance. We're proud to announce that Looker has completed multiple security and compliance initiatives. We're committed to continuously improving how Looker keeps your data secure in partnership with you. And finally, my favorite topic, let's talk about analytics for your analytics. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with our system activity features, which let you analyze and essentially product manage your analytics. In Looker 7, we're providing more ways for you to use this activity data. We'll have a new offering that you'll be able to use to export Looker activity data to your own database or to a database managed by Looker. This way you can retain activity data longer and mix it with other data for deeper analysis. Now let's take a look at some of the new ways that you can use system activity data in Looker 7. As your Looker deployment grows, so will the need to maintain good hygiene. As an administrator of a very large deployment, like the example that you see here, staying on top of all the things that need your attention can be very difficult. The new housekeeping dashboard gives you a hand by showing you things that are broken, overloaded, or failing. For example, in the top tile for broken dashboard content, I can see that I have several dashboards that have errors. And if I scroll over to the error message, I can see that the top 4 have the same error. They're all missing a variable called sales segment. Now I can jump into those dashboards from the links in this tile to go troubleshoot and fix that content. With a housekeeping dashboard, you can see any issues that arise before you get a call from a frustrated user. The new scheduler heat map takes it a step further by quickly visualizing potential performance issues. It's often the case that everyone wants to schedule their reports to run first thing on Monday morning, but that can strain the system. It's like a traffic jam on the road during rush hour. The scheduler heat map helps admins find which reports and users are causing those backups. For example, let's say that our executive team has several critical reports that must go out at a certain time. As an admin, I want to clear the road, if you will, for those important reports. Using this heat map, I can drill into the hour of the day when I need those executive reports to run. And now I have a list of the scheduled jobs at that hour, and I can reach out to the owners of those jobs to ask them to reschedule those queries to clear the path for the executive reports and avoid performance issues. Avoiding performance issues is all part of managing a data platform for your enterprise at scale. But what about the costs of running these queries? Some of the most advanced databases today are elastic, so you have to keep an eye on them to manage costs. On the screen is an example of something that you could build. It's a dashboard that combines system activity data with cloud database consumption data from our Looker blocks, giving us a single place to monitor it all. For example, on the right, I have a tile that shows queries to this database by group. So I can see which teams are querying the database the most. And maybe I'll even ask those departments to chip in and help cover some of the costs of this database. And down on the bottom tile, I have a line series showing query counts and a bar series representing costs. The query count starts out pretty steady and gradually increased over the previous week, and there's this odd spike on October 15. Now I can drill into those queries to understand which users and workflows caused that spike and the later increase later in the week. Now cloud database consumption and cost is also something that you can manage and tune with system activity. So that's the data foundation in Looker 7. It's built for enterprise-grade workloads. It's flexible to your unique needs. And it has more analytics of your analytics so that you can keep things running smoothly. Thanks.
Thank you, Sandra, Lindsay, Ariel, and Nick. This brings the formal presentation to a close, and we'll now open it up to Q&A. As a reminder, please submit your questions by typing it into the Q&A panel into the webinar software. My name is Jamie Davidson. I'm the VP of Product here at Looker. I'll be taking questions from the audience regarding Looker 7, our latest product release. Let's get started. The first question is, when will these features be rolled out, and what's the timeline for Looker 7 look like? So Looker 7, Looker 7.0 will be rolled out in January, and many of these features, if not most of these features, will be released then in January as a part of that 7.0 release. Many of the features actually are available today to folks that are interested in participating in our beta functionality and sort of our preview features as well too in the November release as well. And then some of these features too will be rolled out over the course of the next year, really on the 7.0 features that are developed basically over the course of Looker 7. Let's see. The next question is with regards to the Slack integration. How can we configure it? Is it configurable to have multiple Slack instances? And also to a question around sort of the relative difference between our existing older version of our Slack integration and now this new one that we're releasing now. So we're now moving to an OAuth-based Slack integration that will allow you to basically act as both the Looker user with the Looker permissions associated with a given user, as well as a Slack user with the given permissions and accessible channels and the like too. It'll be, at least to start, a single Looker instance connected to a single Slack workspace for the initial work too, but we're talking and working with Slack too around potentially opening that up to multiple different workspaces as well for a Looker instance. There's a question around embed functionality and whether or not we can integrate with various SaaS providers like Salesforce or Dynamics too. So effectively, any SaaS provider that allows for embedded iframes, we can definitely integrate with. So Salesforce, many customers actually integrate sort of our embedded iframe dashboards in today. So for sure that's supported, and really it depends on the specific SaaS vendor too, and how flexible and open their extensibility framework is, and whether or not they'll allow embedded iframes there too. Then there's a question around the Python SDK, if there's any extra cost. No, that'll be an open source SDK too, and really that'll be helping you orchestrate API calls to a Looker instance and sort of manage the sort of workflow around that. And there's a question around when the SDKs are going to be available too. They will be available sort of over the course of Looker 7 too. Actually, some are available today in November. Some will be available in January as well too, as we build out those UI components that allow you to sort of construct custom data experiences in JavaScript in the browser. That'll be available a little bit later, sort of January or so too, and we'll be iterating on it over the course of 2020. Let's see, looking for the next one. There's a question around data shaping, cleaning, and data model functionality. So Looker at its core is a data model company, and really to the extent that we have a BI product is really differentiated largely through that integration with the data model that allows you to have a single source of truth, a semantic definition for your data, and a modern developer workflow on top of that sort of semantic definition too. That's absolutely core to what we do and will continue to be. We absolutely still will be investing in that core data model as well. Got a question around HIPAA compliance too. Yes, Looker in 2019, so as part of Looker 6 actually is now HIPAA compliant, and we can offer a HIPAA offering too. So please talk to your reps and the like too, and we can definitely get you set up. There's a question around our data source or connections feature too, and whether or not what the use case is for that too. We're firm believers that our customers should invest in and own their data infrastructure and have the flexibility to pick the best tools for the right problem. That said, though, we don't want to require it for folks to be able to invest in creating a data-driven culture. So, we're basically enabling you to have what amounts to sort of like an accelerator in sort of that data-driven sort of process or workflow to be able to do things like sort of lightweight ETL, managed databases too, and then as a part of the marketplace too, you can actually install pre-built templated analysis too that's paired to that data model, so that for common SaaS tools, for common data models, you really can press a button and really be exploring your data in minutes and no longer sort of hours, days, or weeks. Let's see, there's a question, are there any new APIs coming with Looker 7? Absolutely. So we have a firm sort of philosophy of 110% API coverage, which means anything you can do inside our BI tool and sort of the reporting and self-serve analytic front end, we want to enable inside our APIs and have full coverage of it too. So as we roll out new functionality, you saw some new functionality in our dashboard, you saw new functionality in our integrations with Slack, for example, too. We will make public APIs accessible too. We'll over time to roll those into the SDKs as well and make sure that they're richly supported too. We'll get a question about whether or not alerts, the sort of new analytical alert product that we've got, will be possible to send an alert to Slack and not just email. So absolutely, that will be coming shortly, where you can select Slack, or actually, honestly, even more generally too, you'll be able to use the full suite of our actions that are enabled on your instance too. We've got a product called the Action Hub that we released, I think last year or perhaps the year before, where we enable you to send data to third-party systems too. So, for example, Slack or Twilio to send a text message. We'll enable all of those endpoints to be accessible via alerts. There's a question around which SQL dialects are included in the new query optimization. So I think that Looker currently supports 45 plus SQL dialects or databases too. The query optimization, we're starting with a handful of the sort of cloud MVP databases. So starting with Redshift, Snowflake, and BigQuery, and then we'll sort of expand from there too. But at least initially, it's probably those three. Let's see. What's new about alerts and notifications? So yeah, the alerts and notifications are basically becoming GA'd inside Looker 7, and we will be able to send data to Slack too. There's a question around the Salesforce data connection, if it lets you connect to Salesforce the same way you connect to a database. The connectors are really an ETL and managed data warehouse product too. So you'll be replicating your data into a database, and Looker will still be connecting to that database too. And to start, it will be a managed data warehouse. Over time, will enable you to pick existing data warehouse as well. Let's see. When is the developer framework available? So that the extension framework where you can build custom JavaScript or custom UI inside Looker, sort of integrated with the data model too, and hosted by a Looker instance. That'll be coming available in January, and we'll be iterating on that too. But over the course of 2020, to be able to have additional extension points, permissions, and sort of more robust control too. But the initial release will be in January. There's a question about the main language for the semantic layer in Looker, whether or not it's in LookML or if we're moving to SQL. So for the definitions of Looker, it's still very much focused on LookML, sort of an abstraction layer on top of SQL. We've got a sort of rich API that you can still use to query against that model too. But yeah, absolutely still investing in LookML. Let's see. There's a question around, can we toggle existing dashboards into the new dashboard types and the various different new flavors of dashboards too that we are building as a part of Looker 7, and sort of I think the question's getting at a migration path too for existing content. So all of your existing dashboards for sure will work inside this new dashboard framework that Ariel talked about. There is some functionality in new dashboards that's not possible today in old dashboards too. So for example, you saw some of the filtering or the cross filterability of our new dashboards too that will require you to either augment your existing dashboards or to build net new ones to take advantage of that new functionality. There's a question around Looker 7 having the ability to explore all of the metadata inside the internal database versus, I guess, just limited to fields too. So one of the example extensions that we are building is a data dictionary leveraging sort of LookML and all of the metadata associated with your Looker model as a means to basically help with the modeling process too for analysts that are actively developing LookML and understanding definitions of data and relationships between views, explorers, and fields and the like too. So yeah, that's all available via API today. Yeah. In the slides, sorry, I'm just reading this question. It's talking about new scheduled targets. Google, Slack have been added. The question is whether or not we're removing S3. No, S3 is included in the core product today too, and it's also available via the Action Hub as well too. We will absolutely be continuing to support it too. I think we also support Azure Cloud Storage, or I can't remember the exact product name too, but Azure's cloud offering as well. Can we send existing reports to Box and Google Drive? How easy will it be to do? So yes, both are actively in development too, and should be available in January to be able to send data into your existing Box account or into your existing Google Drive account too as yourself. That'll be a part of our Action Hub framework too, and so it's as easy as selecting a different destination after you've enabled it on your instance, or an admin's enabled it on your instance. Any optimizations done for mobile small screens? Yes, we are actually actively developing a native mobile app too, primarily for data consumption experiences that will be rolled out probably in the first half of 2020, and not necessarily in January too, but actively developing that. And today too, we support a responsive mobile web app too, so sort of have native mobile support today. Will Looker 7 roll out automatically, or is there anything that admins need to do? No, it's a part of our normal release process too. We have a monthly cadence, although we don't release in December because of the sort of complexity around the holidays too, and sort of not wanting to change things. But we have a monthly release process too, that if you're a Looker hosted customer too, we manage fully for you and should be transparent. There's a question around integrating visualizations into Google Slides So actually at our join conference now 2 weeks ago too, Slack, who's a partner and a customer of ours too, walked through a workflow where they've actually used Looker to govern data and actually use it to automatically generate Google Slides powered by sort of Looker data for their sales teams. That's something that they've built custom on top of our APIs too. That's something that we're actively working on and thinking about, deeper integrations with existing productivity suites too. I don't have firm plans for when that'll, like a timeline really, for when that'll release too, but I suspect we'll actually look at that pretty heavily in 2020. It'll be part of sort of that action framework or that integration that we do, similar to what we do with Slack. Any plans to allow individuals to change the font size, style of access labels for dashboards and looks? And this is really a question around sort of the configurability of visualizations and how much customization you can do. In our new dashboards, which we really rebuilt from ground up in 2019, there's a whole lot more configurability that's basically possible today in terms of the layout and the presentation too. For an individual visualization too, that's actually something that we're going to be working on really in 2020. So we're taking a hard look at really our Explore UX. Right now it's sort of one of the two primary interfaces to your data, in sort of reporting use cases, our dashboard, in a self-serve exploration or self-serve analytics. It's our Explore page. As a part of that Explore page, there's a big function that really is around content creation too. We want to, I think our visuals have gotten, leaps and bounds better this year. We've invested heavily in it too. I think we sort of have, I'm biased, but I think we've got very good defaults now. We are going to be investing more in sort of the configurability and the customization as a part of that as well in 2019, really reworking it too, much in the same way we sort of rethought the dashboard experience too in 2019. There's a question around automating LookML and model creation, like automating views and joins based on the database schema. So this is actually a project that is in a sort of internal alpha, I think, phase right now too, where we want to look at both the database schema and then also existing SQL queries too, to infer things like join relationships, to infer things like scalar transformations for dimensions or like aggregations for measures too, and help you auto-generate a model based on your actual usage of a database. So that's absolutely where we're going and trying. We want to remove some of the friction associated with that model generation or that LookML modeling process too. That said though, I think we'll firmly stay in the camp of human intervention is really important, sort of garbage in, garbage out. If you got a bad join inside your SQL query, it's going to be modeled poorly too, even if we infer, that relationship too. So we'll definitely still keep a sort of, an analyst-driven process too, and sort of, our integration with Git's absolutely core to what we do, and so sort of, having something like a, pull request merge process as well too for even the automated generation. Let's see. Is the marketplace the primary location for new visualizations? Will we continue to develop new visualization types in-house? No, the marketplace will really be the place for what we sort of call custom visualizations today. And really the way we think about it is, we seek to satisfy, call it, 80% of analytical use cases with our visualizations. We want to help our customers derive insight from their data too. Visualizations, a core part of that. We want to cover the vast majority of use cases there. That said, though, there are specific use cases that have, specific structure of the data with really unique needs too, where you do want some custom visualization. So, the example that is my favorite too, like we had a customer that's a Major League Baseball team that wanted to visualize, the sort of efficacy or success of individual players batting. And so they've got very literally a baseball stadium visualization. That's probably not relevant to, the majority of our customers, but for them, it's absolutely essential too, and we want to have a flexible, extensible framework for it. The marketplace will be for those custom visualizations too. We will absolutely still be developing core native visualizations too, as it's applicable to a large subset of our customers. We've got a question about the Looker marketplace and whether we'll be taking contributions to it too. So out the gates too, we actually do have a number of partner submitted blocks and custom visualizations as a part of that marketplace too. And you can reach out to sort of our alliances team, or if you're an active partner today too, your Looker representatives too, to understand sort of the process for the submission too. There's some vetting that we want to do to make sure everything's of high quality for customers. Yeah, I'm just looking through this question too. There's a question around whether or not Looker has plans to download dashboards as PowerPoint-friendly PDF style too. It's something that we're actively thinking about too. Sort of really considering sort of the interface that the dashboard is being presented in. So, for example, I mentioned a native mobile app. That's really it's a separate interface with like different types of use cases too, where interactivity probably is less important and really, consumption is the primary use. Similarly, a PowerPoint PDF, or honestly, maybe auto-generating a PowerPoint or auto-generating a Google slide too with a live connection to Looker data too is something that's interesting. As we think through sort of integration with productivity suites like Microsoft Office or the G Suite, we will definitely be thinking about that too. But there's no short-term answer to that. There's a question around the new document like dashboard types. So basically we will be rolling that out in Q1 of next year too, as a new really reporting use case too, where the use case is more around presentation of like executive style information too, and it's probably closer to something like Google Docs or Word than it is to classic reporting and such. It's still actively being developed too. We've got sort of internal prototypes and stuff for it, so we don't have public facing documentation today. Let's see. I've got a question around PDTs supporting incremental updates. So that's absolutely on the roadmap. We're actively working towards it too. We in Looker 7 will be releasing the ability to use stable named PDTs. So today we basically assume that PDTs can be rebuilt at any point in time too, and in order to build them, you have to rerun a query to generate it too. It doesn't do it automatically. It doesn't do it incrementally. We in order to do that stable name, we had to reorchestrate how our process for building those PDTs and making it much more robust too. And that's very much in line with sort of supporting those incrementally updating PDTs as well. So we absolutely are investing in that too. There are a couple more questions too around the launch date for Looker 7 and sort of the whether or not features are going to be available in beta. So many of the features in the prior presentations too are actually available, excuse me, in a preview mode right now in sort of the November release too. They'll be publicly available in the January release, which is the official Looker 7.0 release too. And then some of the features like the mobile app that I talked about, for example, they'll be released over the course of Looker 7. So over the course of next year, 2020, I expect that the mobile app will probably be the first half of the year too. And we've moved really to a formal sort of beta or preview process where we release to sometimes to a closed list of customers, sometimes to a public open beta too, and basically learn from direct feedback too, and then roll it out as a GA too. There's a question around how does your in-memory caching work in practice, and will it impact my queries in Snowflake? So we have a cache today that is basically constrained to your Looker instance too. The new distributed cache that we're building is something that can be unconstrained from the physical memory of your Looker instance too, and can scale out conceivably, beyond that sort of physical constraint. And so it basically will still behave like our cache system does today too. So if we've got we effectively hash the SQL query too. So if you pre-run this query too, and you can specify the time frame on which you want to basically expunge your cache as well. So you can completely configure all of that. But basically, if we pre-run your query, it's in the cache too. We won't need to hit your underlying data warehouse to do it too, and the results will be there much more fast or much more quickly. Let's see. There's another here. There's a question around any significant functionality or products being discontinued in this new release. No, not really. We very rarely will deprecate features or functionality too, and only in the cases where we've effectively built a new version of it. So nothing is going to be deprecated right now. Excuse me. There's a question about how to become a beta customer too. I reach out to either support or your CSM or your account executive too. Your Looker representative in another way too, to be able to actually get onto beta lists who are actively looking for customers and want direct feedback. That's a great way for us to do the development. Let's see. There's a question for alerts. What's the default time zone and can it be changed? So you can change it on a per user basis and you can change it on a per instance basis too, to be able to set your individual users' time zones to. The alerts will by default act on whatever user has set the alert to. But yes, you can change that as well. There's a question around LookML test validations and dependency validation too. If the question is talking about how do you understand if when you change your LookML, that it may or may not break content too, and how do you understand that too? So we currently have a content validation system that should let you know whether or not basically if you change the name, say, of a dimension that a dashboard expects, that in fact that will break the content. That validation should work today for sort of that content period. We're investing pretty heavily actually in really our LookML tests or unit tests and data tests as well too. So we want to basically make sure there's a sort of a modern developer workflow associated with building basically governed content and governed models too. But so that's something that we're actively investing into, but definitely there's definitely some content validation and some unit tests available today that we'll continue to build out. I think I'm going to take one more question too as we're getting down to time. And I'm sorry too, there are lots of questions here too that we can't get to but please reach out to us and whether it's support or your Google representative, and we'd love to answer your questions as well. Let's see. There's a question around what are the benefits effectively of moving to the Kubernetes-based sort of containerized hosted solution. There were a bunch of different benefits, and really sort of it seems to be the state of the art too for deploying modern SaaS software. The ones that were sort of the precipitating factors for us too were one, we wanted to abstract away the complexities of hosting in each cloud. So we currently host in AWS and now in GCP. We GA'd that I think last week, and then we will be supporting Azure as well to let people host their data analytics and infrastructure next to their data and give them complete control over it as well. There are other sort of more product-oriented benefits too, where we're developing things like zero downtime upgrades, where we can actually upgrade your instance without having to bring it down, or things that are sort of more of a service-based architecture too. So for example, the distributed cache I mentioned a little earlier too, that's enabled by the sort of the containerization and Kubernetes as well. So that's it. Well, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for tuning into this webinar. you know, we really appreciate your feedback too. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us too, and look forward to hopefully seeing you guys at the next webinar. Thank you.